Okay, Dr. Umar Johnson, man, he's back in the headlines right now, and he's back in the headlines for something that is a terrible allegation of being a deadbeat father. So we're gonna react to the video in a second, but Umar, who is a very well-spoken man,
Yes,
I've watched a lot of his work. I agree with a lot of what he says.
Indeed.
A lot of what he says. This was quite shocking to hear this. However, I do understand that there are three sides to every story.
There certainly is.
Her side, not meaning his daughter, meaning his ex-partner, his side, and the truth.
Yes.
So let's get into this thing, man.
But before you do that, Mark, is this the one from Brum, or is this something new? Is this the confrontation at the lecture?
No, this is something new. Okay, so this is Umar's daughter who put this video out yesterday. So let's hear what she's saying.
Hey TikTok, so I just wanted to come on here with a small short announcement. I just want to start this video off by saying I'm not trying to get clout. I literally just want to have a conversation with my father. My biological father is Dr. Umar. He has another daughter. I tried to contact him about, getting to know my sister on my dad's side. I asked him if he knows her or if he has her number. He ignored me and never responded. I'm 22 years old now. My dad has never been to anything important, no graduation, no birthday parties, nothing. He has not been in my life. Again, I'm not making this video to bash him. I'm making this video to state facts, okay? You can't get on Instagram and get on social media.
Let me just pause this here.
And portray to be an activist and talk about how...
All right, so first thing I'm noticing here is two things, actually. She's 22, okay? She's 22, which means that since the age of 18, the mother has no input anymore. So no matter what's happened historically, when a child turns 18, they are now on their own path, their own road. So if you've got an absent father for whatever reason, we're going to cover all bases today, and you're now 18, there's no one who can get in the middle of that relationship anymore. Previous to 18, I'll say it straight. I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but I'm telling you straight, man, if a woman don't want you to see your child, you're not seeing him. That's a fact. If she says, I don't want this man to see his child, it doesn't matter if you go court. It doesn't matter if you pay child support. You could be the best father in the world. If the mom decides you're not seeing that child, you ain't seeing that child. Now, there's two things that you can do. You can fight, to which you could potentially lose your mental health. You guys know I haven't made it any secret, but a friend of mine that I kind of grew up with at one point in time himself. Now, the problems he was having with his child's mother started that mental journey that he was on. And, when he would talk to me about it, because I didn't understand it at the time, I was quite dismissive of the issue because I didn't understand it. And I thought, come on, man. You know what I mean?
The severity of it, yeah.
This man was really hurt. Like, he had two children and he couldn't access them. He couldn't get presents to them. He couldn't get messages to them. Nothing. And it was tearing him up inside. And that started him on his journey. And eventually, amongst other things, it ended bad. Now, when I seen that happen, amongst some of you guys as well that watch this have had conversations with me about what you've gone through. And I'm like, damn, I used to be quite dismissive of this issue. But now when I hear the word absentee father, I'm not so quick to judge, because I know that a lot of men are going through parental alienation.
Yes.
That's a real thing, people.
Hella real.
That is real, and it should be a crime. It should be a sin. Unfortunately, it's not. So let's bear that in mind.
Black kings need to be with black women, but you're not even in your black woman's daughter's life. It doesn't make sense. You're being a hypocrite, and it's frustrating because I reached out to you. I shouldn't have had to do that. I'm your daughter, But I'm smart enough and logical enough to know that you would never reach out to me because you don't have my phone number. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't try to reach out to me because for what? I don't want anything out of you. I want nothing but a conversation. Forget the relationship. I really don't care too much about that at this point. I just
That
want
don't need to be said.
out of you, and you shut me down. You ignored me.
Okay, let me pause this now.
You should never be.
Let me pause this now. So, okay, so she's made a valid point there that Umar does travel around this globe doing talks about, black love, which I'm all for, but he's not in her life. This is the part I'm struggling with, because when she turned 18, that relationship should have been able to start to build.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell fathers, like, one day your youth will come around, but you've got to, it's like chess, you got to protect your king, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're the king, you need to protect yourself, because if you're not good as a man, and I'm going to speak to the ladies soon as well, but as a man, you need to be good. Like, you have to be good. Your mental health has to be there, people, because if it's not there, you can't help no one.
Yes.
So you could have other children, you're gonna make them fall because you've been alienated at another one's life. You've got to hold your head up high, understand that you have done nothing wrong, and just trust the process. But when I see this, I wonder to myself, why was this taken to the internet? I do understand that she has mentioned that she's tried to reach out to him. However, the fact that this has come to the internet and you know that your dad's a public figure, it makes me question you as well, because you know that he could be called into question now.
You raise a very valid point, and we do have to question absolutely everything. But this isn't necessarily anything new. Outside of the diehard Umar Johnson cult of followers, because he has a cult. If you would spend literally, and I'm not being facetious at all, literally 3 hours of just watching a couple videos, there's no way you could seriously, with a straight face, say, yes, I am going to still send money to Umar Johnson. He's somebody who is up, for upliftment of black people, especially young children, the young kings and queens that he's trying to raise. Which, again, it all sounds good. But actions speak louder than words.
But they turned him into a meme, Noble. They turned Umar Johnson into a meme as well, because the interracial thing became a joke.
Yes.
And Umar almost played into that, to where if you look at 19 Keys, for example, and then you look at Umar, one's taken 100% serious.
Yeah.
I take Umar serious still, but the wider audience will use it as a meme. Like, let's say there'll be a video of a white woman with a big ass. Under the comments, man will be like, Dr. Umar won't like this. Like, they've turned him into a meme, and he's played into that. I was very disappointed to see Umar on a comedy show, Drewski. He was on a Drewski show, and it was and I know they probably gave him some bread, whatever, but you lose credibility by doing things like that. So I understand, but with this daughter situation, for me, this is a situation that a lot of men are going through. So this is why I personally wanted to speak about this, because not every man who's not in their child's life is a deadbeat. There is this parental alienation is major. A lot of men are going through this.
Especially in the wilderness of North America, where the virus was created and set and spread there, where the mindset of women, the male and female dynamic, if you are, and this is to the siblings there, because we've got siblings who are not affected by what we see on social media. There's a lot of siblings them who are in wholesome, healthy relationship. Nothing's perfect, but there's nothing going on like this. This is for the lost and fallen, the small percentage, maybe 20% of the population, who are feeding into the foolishness. So this young girl, you know the reason she took to the internet to do this, Mark?
Break it down.
This is their means of communication. This isn't necessarily for look how she's made up as well. She's not trying. Again, I'm surmising. I'm analyzing this as I see it. If she was out there looking for quote unquote clouds, I would pretty sure she'd have the little waves in her hair. She'd have all of the concealer on,
Good
all
point.
the layers. You know what I mean? The little snuffleupagus eyelashes and all that shit. Man, she'd be looking pangas, right? Cleavage, titty up, you know, all them thing they filter on. If she came presented like that, then we can have a totally different conversation. She feels alienated herself. Peep it, Mark. Peep it. Your mother raised you and your sisters on her own, and meanwhile, Pops is all up and down the UK, traveling the world, JA, talking about pro righteousness and yo this and that and da da da, and you're like, well, hold up, okay. You know, you live with that as a youngster now, and you're like, okay, I'm 18 now, I'm mature, I've had that pain, I've had that suffering. I want to have that conversation. I want to understand, why wasn't you in my life? Could it have been, my mom was a bit like, yo, yeah, your dad's, you know, he's on some thing now, I don't want him in your life, he's a negative influence. Oh, it was none of that. It was just, oh, he wasn't coming around. He would just call occasionally. This is why, as big people, have a certain cloth. You know what I mean? Like Gen X's, we wouldn't dream of putting our business out on the internet.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? But these Gen Z's onwards, this is like the first or last chance. So I've tried to call my dad whole heap of times. Oh, he's all on the camera though. He's all over the internet. Make I put myself on the internet. Not
Facts.
slander him, but put it down. Put it down, put the information down, and let the court of opinion, the social media, apply the pressure, so then he would have to now come to the table to me.
Well, let's really put this thing into perspective, yeah? Because I was watching a live stream, not an FBA, it was a Caribbean who now lives in the States doing a live stream, and she was talking about like relationships and stuff. And this woman, when I was listening to her talk, Noble, the hate that was coming from this live stream, she was saying that if a man ever cheated, she'll tell the kids that he's
Oh my God.
real talk. I can send you the stream after this. She was like really angry, and she was talking about, I'm not like that. My mans that know me, they know how I move, and I'll tell my youths he's. And I remember thinking, damn, like, imagine the man who bred you.
Yeah,
Imagine the man who has to deal with you. You know what I mean? So, sorry.
Careful where you throw your damn seeds.
Exactly. That's number one. So, for me, it's like, yes, you're right, no, but like, it could be a situation where she can't get a hold of him, but he's on the internet preaching righteousness, which, you know, we're not going to say that he's not righteous because we don't know. But the facts are that this is sad that this is in the public eye. Do I believe he's a deadbeat? I'm going to keep it real. After what happened with my bedroom, I'm not going to throw that. I can't throw that word around, not lightly, because I know that was a man who loved his youths, man. You know what I mean? Unconditionally, and to the point where the man wanted, the man fought, man. He fought, and I know you shouldn't personalize things, but if someone called him a deadbeat, they would be wrong.
So that's two different. That's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. Similar situations, Mark, and you are being you're bringing in your emotions.
Definitely, I've got Noble. You know why I have to Noble, because I took it lightly when a man was telling me what he was going through. I took it lightly, but then I've seen the other side of the coin where mans have said I had to walk away. You get me? Yes. And I'm like, how come, man? You should fight. And men's are like, yo, if I do that, I may not win that battle.
Of course.
And sometimes a man needs to just make sure that he's able to live to fight another day.
In a real life scenario, in a real life situation, and what you're saying, 100%, 105%. But look at the optics. You haven't had people say, yo, Mark, you see you're bridging. He's always, you know what I mean? He's on this vibe and blah, blah, blah. But I see this. I see to the contrary to what. So he comes and tells you, yo, I love my children. I want to do da, 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 da. But when I'm seeing him, he don't say a word to me. He don't say this. He don't say, you're not getting the country. So let me give another. Do you remember the conscious stripper?
Yes. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember she had children? She had children of her. She was a single parent herself. Yes,
I remember. I
Yes?
remember.
Okay. So that scandal. That was that the one before this. Yes, that was But then before that, there was a next thing going on with.
But no, but you don't think he's gonna? I've got to ask these questions now. I'm saying to you, a man's traveling around the country. You don't think just because he's preaching a message, there's gonna be sisters that are willing to because you are famous at the same time.
Yes.
Now, I get it. You know, it's not a good look, but at the end of the day, like, where was the crime? Is he meant to be a monk?
No, Mark. No, Mark. Come on. And I like it. I'm glad.
That's what I'm saying. Is he meant to be a monk? Man's are gonna come on, man.
When Umar was a lot more eloquent, right? And he always was in a suit. So I'm talking like
13, 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of period when Umar was on point, dropping it. He hasn't necessarily, because I don't watch his content no more. And I don't think he does this so much now. But he would make a point to scorn our sisters for not embracing their natural 9 ether curled hair.
Okay, yeah.
Weaves in it, especially blonde weaves. He would run them, sibling. Run them. So if we can fast forward to the country stripper, what? She had an afro.
No, she did not.
Okay, see, she had the weave thing going on.
Yeah. She was the image, the opposite image of what he preaches. So what you're getting at is that was hypocritical.
Majorly hypocritical. So again, if we're talking that on a surface level, that's a surface level, and then now we're talking about his private life. Okay, so that's a surface level. So in his private life, he's doing the opposite. So he's talking pro-righteousness, look after your children, don't be with the other nations and all that. As the siblings know, look, I grew up without a father. I was in a single parent household. My mother didn't cost my father, who didn't want to be in my life.
Dying breed, though, Noble.
You know what I mean?
That's a dying breed.
No, I'm not talking about me.
No. Your mom. Your mom's a dying breed. Your mom is that type of woman that from that era should be protected at all cost, because they would always say, yo, you find out for yourself. I'm not gonna badmouth no man. You, whatever it is, you. So how, without personalizing it, is that what happened with you?
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
There was nothing bad. There was nothing. When I got older, I was told some things, nothing crazy. But I was like, of course, as a child, I wouldn't have a concept of understanding of what that meant. But as an adult, like, I was a young teenager. I was like, oh, okay. And then me, so okay, let's drop it. So me, I didn't want nothing to do with my father. Nothing, Mark. Nothing. I was resentful as hell. I resented the fact that, hold up, my mum is struggling as a single parent to look after 3 children, and you're just there flossing and doing your thing. I got a half sister sibling. Huh? I'm like, I don't meet my half sister until I'm a teenager. So I'm like, and that was the one this is the thing about family, and this is the dysfunction of family, which we can't choose the family, but peep the scenery. I was a savage sibling. I was chasing down gal everywhere I go. What if I had bucked up on my half sister?
Yeah,
huh?
Crazy.
Valuable reason why I said at the start we need to keep maintaining these bonds, boss, because it's slippery slopes like what I've just mentioned. Slippery slopes like this. Like at 18, there's no excuse, boss. I don't give a F about no touring business. That should be direct line every other day. What's going on? Middle daughter, oldest daughter, whatever. You know what I mean?
I gotta come through with the talk, though, Noble. Was your pops away by choice?
Yeah, man.
Okay, well then that's different. That you see that there is no excuse, but there is the other side to the coin, because there's the other side, man. There's the other side of it where
man, listen, I'm far from it. Look, as you said, there's 2 sides to every story in it. Did you get to talk to pops? Did you get to have that one-to-one? Yo, what happened? Did you get that closure? No. Well, yes and no, because it was not to go too detailed, but the overview was I said, okay, the only way for me to overcome this, and listen to and this was a demand. This was a demand now. I'm a big man. You know what I mean? Oh, at that time I was a big man or becoming a big man. So I said, okay, if you now want to repair, a son and father relationship, my demand is that you now, as my mother is alone at home, is you now take up the slack. So
With mommy.
Yeah. So picking up that, putting up the light bulb and changing this and decorating. You're the man for that now.
Did he do it?
I've been the man of the household since I was 7.
Did he do it?
What do you think, Mark?
I don't know.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Not a thing, brethren.
You know what it is with them? We'll get back to Umar in a second. And I know I sound like I'm almost putting up a defense, but there's so much unlearning, Noble, that needs to be done. There's so much unlearning from a Caribbean male standpoint.
Yes,
There's so much unlearning we have to do to where your dad, he was wrong, but he was taught wrong as well, Noble. We got to hold him accountable.
Yes.
But this is why you hear me always reinforcing the importance, man, of the family unit. Do you notice why I always do it? Because people, that's what I grew up in. So if my pops was able to put certain things in and let me know certain things from young, I'm grateful because he didn't promote certain things. Like some of my brethren at school, their dad would let them bring girls to his flat and all sorts. My dad was not on none of that. He was always very family orientated, whereas other man's dads had women on the side and all that.
Yes.
If my dad did, he never made us see it. You get what I'm saying? It was always him and my mom as a unit. It was them two versus the world.
Yes.
And it made you kind of understand the importance of that unit. A lot of men didn't get that teaching. So when they have children, they're not understanding the importance of it. They're not understanding that I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible. This is why I said a lot of men at the first hurdle, because of how the system's set up, and I'm not blaming the system, people, but a woman can be single and be subsidized way more than if she's not single. So at the first hurdle of an issue, couples are breaking up. I'm talking about from back in them days, I'm talking about that generation. That's where it started.
Yes.
And I know that, the first sign, and a lot of men also got here, let's keep this thing 1,000 now. And they got obsessed with the indigenous as well. I know mans whose granddads left their nan and went and set up shop with an indigenous, and the woman was left to pick up the pieces. It could, and you got to think how strong these women were, that they still pushed forward throughout all of it. They didn't give up. They still push forward, and that's why enough men's are here today.
Exactly, and they didn't put the baby in the cot and leave it on someone's doorstep.
Facts.
Because that was done on a regular basis.
Facts.
You heard me?
Facts.
Up until like it was in this, and they're even they don't put it on the damn news no more. But these not, and this is not necessarily our nation, but there were poor women out there that are giving birth to teenagers and stuff and putting them in bins, wrapping it up and putting them in bins. This is what is the destruction of the mind in regards to just the mothering instinct. Who does these kind of things, man? The strength that my grandmother had to create and to endure all of the foolishness from Windrush. Listen, we gotta salute that, boss. And that's a dying, as you say, it's a dying breed.
Facts.
I don't know how it's happened. Well, I know it's how it's happened, but how were people allowing it to happen? Because again, I was once lost. We were all lost at one point. We were never at this point when we was 10 years ago. We were always moving forward, gaining experiences, getting knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now, at what point do we say this is foolishness?
Noble, it's priceless, man.
Come on.
It's priceless. It's priceless. You can't put a price on it. When you got your pops, in your life from a youth who's hands-on, where you can shout your dad. I'm telling you now, when my whip got robbed, my car got robbed right out front of this yard. And when I ordered the new car, they said 6 months. So it meant that either I would have had to get a rental, which would have been very expensive.
Indeed.
And you know what my dad did? He said, Mark, come and get my car. I had his car for 6 months.
Proper. Yeah.
Man just said, come and get it. Just come and get it, man.
Yeah, man.
And just do your thing. And he was sometimes catching boss.
You see it
He had a van, but the van would cause problems and that. But
yeah.
sometimes he was catching boss and it would be like, yo, just when you're ready, just bring it back. And that was a new plate as well.
You see it?
And this is what I'm saying, like, it's priceless to have. Somehow the men have been from young, when you're chasing multiple girls, the act of lying down with a woman is essentially to make life. So when you keep lying down, you eventually one day she can catch. And if you don't truly love that woman, if you don't truly love her, what is going to happen in the future? Do you know what I mean? If you wouldn't make her your wife, you shouldn't make her a mom, man. That's a fact. And this is all I need to get through to my son is that.
Yeah.
Is that, yo, if you can't make her your wife, please don't make her a mom. I know that boys will be boys at certain ages. You're gonna have your phases, but
yes,
essentially the real flex is to have a wife. You know what I mean? That's just the facts. That's the real flex. But we've been for some reason, like you said, there's a lot of different explanations people may have, but it become cool to be a gallus. It was on Front Street. Like I said to you, you know, you'll see Asian men who are doing their thing, but they're hiding because if they bring it to Front Street, it's not going to be rated.
Well, look, this is here. So let me add another dynamic which happens in line with the blaxploitation. So the blaxploitation came out, and then what was happening again in the wilderness of North America? They were saying, okay, there's no jobs. Okay, there's no jobs. We're going to give you support, and we're going to pay for the rent of your home. But the only thing is, you can't have a man there. You cannot have a man in your home. And what we're going to do is we're going to send a little woman with these little glasses, and she's going to come into your house, and she sees any paraphernalia relating to a adult male in the home. You don't get paid. You don't get your food stamps, and we don't pay for this house. So what did that do? That then said, you know, it made it difficult for the man to stay in the home, and then eventually, oh, you've got one warning because we saw a shirt in there last week. We came, oh, listen, Reginald, you got to be careful, man. You left that shirt there last time. They're going to stop the payments. All right, then. And then he then starts to say, okay, well, I'm getting too much stress here. Let me lay my head somewhere else. It's more easier. And then it becomes easier. It becomes easier. They become more detached. The government now is the daddy, because the daddy is providing as a father supposed to provide, but only on the financial side. So then we get that the child grows up in that household and see how strong this black woman is. You know, this Hispanic woman is in the quote unquote ghetto in the wilderness of North America, and she raises up in squalor, in abject poverty. Her mum working 16 jobs to try and do the thizzle wiggle if they're on that vibe, right? And then she catches at 14.
Facts.
Generational curse continues.
Facts.
And then now she's a great grandmother, and it's 2025.
I find it weird that he knows that this skeleton's in his closet, and he's talking so confidently online, because this is a skeleton, because this is not a 17-year-old. This is a 22-year-old who you can't actually use the mom no more, because the mom is not in it. The mom can't stop her now at 22. So even if, for what Umar said, which we'll go to his bit in a minute, you're supposed to be able to say now, daughter, I know we had a horrible start for whatever reason, because Umar did say he went to court, etc. But right now, we've got some time. We can try and fix this. The fact that he's ignoring and all that, it sounds like he's carrying the resentment that's supposed to be for the mom, and he's carrying that to the daughter. And that is never a good thing. Whatever the mom did, parental alienation, I understand. It's a painful thing. It will make a big man cry. However, you can't carry that resentment to the child. You cannot. It's not the child's fault. Remember, there's certain women that will plant certain seeds in your child's head, you know. They'll plant certain seeds and make it sound like you're a monster. What you need to now do is prove that you're not.
Yes, show and prove.
Show and prove. Prove that you're not. So you reach out to you, even if you get no response, reach out. Yo, I love you, you know, like no matter what, I love you. You know what I mean? I'm here when you're ready. Leave it in her court. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever happened, it's sad that this is even online, man. It's sad that this is even online, but the facts are we do need to start having more conversations, especially within our community, about parental alienation. Because a lot of these youths that you see that have gone the wrong way, especially through our day, a lot of those youth went bad due to parental alienation.
Yes.
Because your dad, one thing I can tell you about my dad is that when I started to get to like 14, that's the only man who could have any input.
Come on.
Mom couldn't have told me nothing. And you guys see that my mom's a very dominant woman, you get me, you can see. But she couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing. If dad weren't about, it was a party time. You could stay out late. The only thing mom could do is, wait, did I tell you that?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But imagine if there was he wasn't there. Yo, we're not having this convo now.
Come on, different places.
Because that means I could have been running around doing what I want to do. But once you got that authority figure, which they've slowly taken at the home as well, you can't even raise your voice too loud.
They're on the phone to Childline.
Yeah, man. They've actually put out little ads and stuff, making children know, because what they've did is their dad, they are now dad, their dad. So you're just a male.
Yeah.
If you try and insert the dominance that your grandfather had, and when I say dominance, to where he had a plan, he didn't want you falling into the hands of the system.
Exactly.
So he had a plan, he had a structure to keep you away from that. And for the most part, it worked. There's only one or two bad apples you can name that slipped through the cracks. But in the grand scheme of things, that type of man has been criminalized now in today's world. That kind of man has been criminalized now, but it's called controlling. And it's not that. It's not that, but that's what they've managed to do. And the only way you can undo this problem is by creating a law that makes it punishable to alienate a parent. And there should be a government-assisted moderation service that assists men.
The current system is towards the female. It's all matriarchal. So unless there's proven abuse going on or something, the woman is automatically, well, she gave birth. That's where, you know what I mean, you got to pay like you weigh. Now, what real righteousness, real equality needs to be is, okay, we've got a system. If you're not operating as husband and as mother and father, let's not use the marital terms. If you're not operating under that and raising a productive member of society, we've got a plan for you.
Yeah.
We've got a plan for you, boss. You're going to attend courses, because there are parental courses, strangely enough. Parental courses, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, you are going to attend those. Oh, you're one of those ones who just want to be in and out the child's life. Okay, that's not a problem. That's not a problem, because we're going to garnish your wages. And also, you've got to attend the course as well. You do have to attend the course, whether that's male or female. So it has to be a holistic approach to the thing. We have to look at, okay, you've broken the contract of being a mother and father. Okay, this is what you need to do. Financially, if you're out the house, you've got to put that in there. And also, you not only need to do the course once a week, this is a designated place, and you come and you have time with your child. You failure to do that, there's consequences, whether that be you do community service, whether you get financially fined or whatever, but there has to be a consequence for the actions. This will then force people to be parents again, proper parents.
Facts.
And not for the mother to dangle and utilize a living being, 23 chromosomes his, 23 hers, to create life as a pawn, as a tool. Give me the cash app, $200, and then you can see your child. Why haven't you bought all the... Remember that fucking video and the chuppy girls cussing the man down because he didn't buy all the food?
There's man's going through hell. There's man out there going through... Like, if I was to trust me, I could go... Some of you, man, that's on this have reached out to me personally. I've heard horror stories, and all I know is this. The government needs to step in now. They have to, because this is a major issue. The parental alienation is a major issue, and they need to step in and make some sort of system that is fair to men and women alike. But
Exactly.
right now, as a man, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If your baby mother does not want you to see your child, you're not seeing him. It doesn't matter. You can spend as much money as you want. You can go to court. You can do what you want. I've said it to man before. Ultimately, the only person who's going to feel it is the child.
Unfortunately.
Because all this nonsense fighting and all this, it's all stupid, man. Because the only man who's going to feel it is the child. And people just go back as old as you can to the show. What do I always say? Break up amicably. Okay, it can't work, you know. It can't. We've tried this thing. It can't work. Here, what? You go your way, I'm going my way. But we have to understand we created a life. So we both need to be on our A game for that life.
But
How do you know what I mean? How does that look? What does that look like? How are we going to co-parent? How are we going to do? Even if it's a thing where you're at loggerheads, they say time heals everything. Let it cool down, and then it's about the child. But once the child starts getting a whiff of adult arguments, a male child, boom, he's going to kick in to defend his mom. He's going to think you know what I mean? That's what he's going to do. And now what you're doing is taking him away from something that he'll never get back. No, D42, facts. Can we talk about the effects it has on girl children as well? Causing them to look for father figures in relationships when they get older. That's a fact. The only currency on this plane of existence is time. Nothing else.
Come on.
Nothing else. The only currency is time. That's it. It's priceless. You don't have it to waste. One mistake can take your whole life trajectory to another direction. One mistake, and it can come by way of a relationship, a friendship, anything. Just one person, just one bad apple can ruin the whole thing. So you have to be unapologetic with your life. You do. You got to be unapologetic. I always say to man, look at your life like a movie. You're the writer. You decide who stays on for the next season.
Yes.
You decide who gets written out. You decide. Everybody should have their everything should play its purpose. I always say life like a train, man. People are gonna get off. People are gonna get on. But essentially, we're all traveling together. Everyone's got their own train. You decide. You're the conductor. You decide who gets off. You decide who gets on. And when you're dealing with a relationship, that person's damn near a co-driver of that train with you. So you can't ignore things. Because it leads to issues in the future. When you're going through this, when you're fighting and doing all of this, remember your mental health's on the line. Because remember the thing about parental alienation, yeah, the worst part about it, and I can tell this, whether you're a father now or you're going to become one in the future, the most painful part about it, it's like you're mourning someone who hasn't died.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, it's like you're mourning somebody who hasn't passed. So you're going through the pain of, I don't know what's going on. And every day you're not seeing them, you don't know what they're going through. Remember, kids could be getting bullied in school.
Exactly.
It could be going through anything and you're not there. You know what I mean? I don't think man's understand the severity of that. When you can't reach out to your youth and say, yo, you good. What's hard when you're alienated from your youth is if they got a relationship with your other youths and like with your parents and your cousins and your family, it's hard because you now have to explain that's no more kind of thing. It don't just affect the man. If you meet a girl who's already got a child, how she treats her baby father is how she's going to end up treating you. So just look at how she talks about him, how she handles him. If you hear her say things like, if my man ever did that, he's not seeing his youth and all that. Matter of fact, don't even lie down, mate. Don't even lie down with that because that could catch, you know.
Have you seen that police officer? I'm on TikTok a bit more recently. I can't lie, the bug got me in it. No, you know how it is. You know that was. Yeah. But have you seen that police officer that exposes the police? That black police officer from London.
No.
He's been exposing them. He's been suspended for years. He was on one Baby Father podcast. I watched it, and he said the same thing. He started going out with a woman with a child, and she say like the baby dad would call, and she'd be like, "I don't want to talk to him," so she would air the phone call. Yeah, and he'd be like, he'd say to her, "But maybe he wants to talk to the child, didn't he? He's like, nah, I can't bother to deal with him today. So he's already had warnings of how she is, yeah? They've continued their relationship and they've got a child together now. So then they started having problems, they broke up. He's now having issues, same thing, can't see his child. But he went through years of court and everything, and he sorted out, now he can see child. But he spent definitely over 6 figures.
Easily.
On
Yeah,
more
because
than
remember,
that.
if you don't know how to fill out if you don't know how to do it, Ari, if you don't know how to represent yourself in court, you've got to pay a man to do it for you.
180
he
an
said
hour
he spent.
upwards.
Yeah, man.
I want to say over 200 grand. I think he said he spent.
Wow.
You know,
And this is what I remember. Every day you're not seeing your youth, you know, he's getting bad habits from the mom. So remember, eventually when he comes back to you, he's got none of your ways. You get me? He could damn near hate you. It's horrible, man. You see, this is
Flip it on his head. How frequently do we hear this on the shoe on the other foot? Where
women?
Mothers, with mothers struggling to get access to their children and all that.
it can't happen because again, I'll give you another story.
Nah, it's called it's genderism, Noble. Not Noble. Now hear me, trust me. It's bigger than race. It's gender. It's a man. It doesn't matter white, Indian, black. It doesn't matter.
I know a white brother who's going through the same thing, and the woman can't go get this.